y'all can come along this journey with me as I try and fix something in my backyard. You know, I was looking at how my dogs are sometimes, and I'm just recording a video. Oh, you gonna try to put it in there?
Just bring them back here.
Oh, okay. Well, I found the zip ties. You know, repetition is really good for us. I was looking at how my dogs respond to me, and especially my Rottweiler Bentley. He's so smart. But I realized it's because I built a connection with him very early on. I started training him in commands when he was super little. And, you know, even though he wasn't doing it right away, that really wasn't the point. The point was I knew that if I continued to work with him, that he would eventually begin to get it. And now the commands are like, you know, second nature to him. And so when I was looking at that, a few things, because earlier I was telling him to do something and he was listening. And of course, he's not perfect. And I don't consistently work with all of the commands that I've taught him when he was little. So sometimes he'll take a second to think about it. But he's such a smart dog. And, you know, it just made me think, just from a human nature perspective, where we have to tighten up on our gift of discernment when we're dealing with people. Knowing how we have to develop a connection by way of, you know, it could be conversation, watching their history, watching their patterns, watching, let me see if I can get this propped up right here. That might be better for me. Well, I'll do it like this. You know, watching their history, watching their patterns, watching what they do, what they don't do in terms of patterns as well. Watching how they talk to you. Do they respect you? Do they honor you? Do they always bring negative things to you? Do they help you? Do they support you? And I know as humans, we always like to have this thing where we want people to support us exactly how we support them. But the reality of it is, that's just not always going to be the case, because everybody is different. You're trying to bring two individual ideas, whether that's two people coming together, four people coming together, whatever that may look like. And so you have to be able to have a conversation so that you guys can have an understanding about what it is that you want, what it is that they want, what it is that you can offer and do, and vice versa. But the biggest thing is I'm finding that people are really struggling in relationships. Several reasons why. One of the main reasons is because the devil is always busy. God designed us to come together, to be together. You know, it talks about how we shouldn't desire to, you know, be alone, and we shouldn't. And I know there's sometimes that are people, oh, I can help you. There's people out there that, you know, say stuff like, I don't have to be with nobody. I'm good being by myself. I prefer to be by myself. I'm an introvert, da-da-da. You know, I even said those things, but the reality of it is that's not who we are in our core. That's not our nature in our core. We are designed to have some type of interaction between humans, especially positive interaction. How do I know that that's not who we are in our nature at our core? Because if that was the case, solitary confinement wouldn't be one of the more harsher forms of punishment. Solitary confinement is worse than being in prison, in already a confined place, right? So imagine being confined and you have to go to a more restricted confined area. So we're just not designed to be alone. We're not designed to think for ourselves, function for ourselves. What do I mean by function for ourselves? Even the things that we do, we have to understand that our actions affect those around us. So we're not designed to just function solely thinking about ourselves. We're not designed to only love ourselves, right? I know we say stuff like self-love is the best love. That is true. But there's also a part of human nature where you need that love. We're not designed to validate ourselves, support ourselves. How do I know that? Is because you cannot get anything done in the earth alone. Think about your day. And just take it, no matter when you listen to this. If it's at the nighttime, think about what your day was. Or if it's at the beginning of the morning, think about the day before. Think about how much you do that requires the functionality of another human being. Restaurants, drive-thrus, your job, parenting, right? Driving in the car, just driving to work. It also takes the functionality of other people on the road, right? Even things that require other people. Your running vehicle was put together by someone else, i.e. either a machine, even if it was a machine, someone has to run the machine. You following the stoplights, there's somebody that is controlling those stoplights at a control center. Or if they go out, the police comes out and now directs traffic. Just think about how much we do. You go to the grocery store. 100% of our lives is required by the assistance and or support of a human being. Their hands were in it. Their minds was in it. The building, how they built it, was in it. You say, well, I go in my house, I pay my own bills, right? But you pay your own bills to a person or a company or an organization, right? You buy clothes through a website that someone built. That's how you know we're not designed to do it by ourselves. Even when you first start off an idea, you're not formulating an idea or you're not coming up with the business because the sole purpose of the business is only for you to profit. You're coming up with a business because you feel that there is a need. Even when the need is negative, like people sell drugs, that's a negative need, but you're coming up with a reason to distribute. I know that wasn't the best example, but I'm just trying to paint the picture of how much we do involves someone else. Now you tailor that to your inner circle. Now do we see how the gift of discernment is so important? Why you have to understand who's in your life, why they're in your life. What are they coming to the table with? And I'm not talking about how these people be talking about, you better come to the table with something. I'm not talking about that. But just assessing, what are you offering? What am I offering? What are you looking to take? What am I looking to take? What are you looking to invest? What am I looking to invest? Everything that we do, especially in our core circle, our relationships have a dual responsibility. We're looking for something when in relationships. We're looking to take something. We're looking to receive something. We're looking to give something. We are looking to laugh. We're looking for connection. We're looking for someone to talk to. But what I'm finding is, as I counsel so many people are struggling with understanding who's in their life and what that person's purpose is. Now, granted, sometimes it takes time, and it shouldn't take too long. Sometimes it takes time to understand what a person's purpose is in your life. Number one. Number two, we also have to be mindful that purpose can change. It can change for the better. That purpose can be ongoing. The purpose my mom had in my life when I was a baby, although some of the foundation was the same, the purpose changed when I became a teenager, when I became a young adult. The purpose of her life, one aspect of the purpose of her life, the purpose of her being in my life changed when I was pregnant, then when I became a mother, right? So that purpose should be forever evolving, forever changing, forever growing for the better. Even if somebody has mishandled you and mishandled their original purpose in your life, you can learn from that as well. But we have to get better at discerning why someone is in our life. And then when we see that shift has changed and it's no longer serving us, and we're not talking about this immature, like, oh, you ain't serving me a purpose because we want to be selfish and we want to take. No. When we realize that our spirit man is giving us a quote unquote red flag about the individual, about their actions, about something that they said that you've now seen them do, right? You notice the pattern. We have to do our due diligence to be able to change those things. We have to be willing to say, wait a minute, I notice something is different. I notice something is off. I've given this time. I've tried to work with them. I've tried to come together. It's just not happening the way that I think. Let me change my shoes, but I don't even think my back door is open. Hey, let me in, cuz. I'm going to get these instead. Hold on. So we want to make sure. What you waiting on me? Oh. We want to make sure that we picking up on those things. that we're not finding ourselves in the exact same situation with the exact same purpose. Of course, we know that there's going to be some, back and forth and some growth in between there. But we want to make sure that we're growing for the better, that we're growing for the positive. Is that making sense? Is it easier said than done? Of course, because we do know it takes two people. But what I'm finding is so many people, that I counsel, they say certain things. I was talking to a young lady, and let me see if I could put y'all up here while I do this. Y'all hopefully can still hear me. I was talking to a young lady, and she was talking to me about her relationship. And she said, I know I've been with him for X amount of years. She said, I know he's never going to change. She just was saying she just knew for sure he wasn't going to do anything different. And she's saying, but if he would just tell me sorry, things would be so much better. I said, my dear, whether he tells you sorry or not, that's not going to mean anything. You think you're just going to automatically forgive all the things that he's put you through? But the thing was, she continued to talk about how he's not doing this, and I know he's never going to do it. And we've been through this over and over and over again, and I know he's not going to do it. And I said, so now my question to you is, you've now talked about who he was as a person. You've talked about it. You've talked about it to the T. So we don't no longer have to guess what he's going to do. We no longer have to guess. I said, now based on what you're sharing with me, because he's not here to defend himself or tell his side, but based on what you're telling me, you've already pegged him for what he was. You know what he's not going to do, how he's not going to do this, how he's not going to love you, how he yells at you, cusses you out, disrespects you, takes your money, da-da-da. So we know what he's going to do. We know how he's going to be. And I said to her, so we don't even have to talk about that right now. I said, but the question is, at least he's being consistent in the wrong that he's doing. Now, the bigger question is, why do you keep analyzing what he's doing, but you're not analyzing why you keep dealing with it? Because there's something deeper going on within you that you continue to deal with it. So you can keep talking about him all day long. Well, he's been if you're describing him as the person that he is, he's been consistent in that. Now, the question is, let's take it off of him, and now let's talk about you. If you keep discerning that this is how he is as a person, gotta want to do something different. Let me get this over here, y'all. I'll be right back. And you know what? She's not the only one. She's not the only one that's been in that situation. It's a lot of us. Even I've been in that situation before. I've walked loved ones through that situation. I've seen loved ones go through that situation. I've seen friends go through that situation where they go on and on about what he or she is doing, and how awful he or she is, and how terrible he or she is. Now, the question is, if how you're describing them, if that's how they're being, now we got to ask ourselves, why is it that our gift of discernment isn't working, number one, and number two, when it does kick in, why do we keep settling for that? What is it that what are we trying to save people from? Because, see, the reality of it is we can't save anybody that doesn't want to be saved. If you're in a swimming pool and you're drowning and I come in to try to help you, if you're doing everything against helping me, whether that's calming down, whatever the case may be, you're going to kill me or you're going to kill you. Why do you think that they tell people, if there is somebody drowning, go get help? And I know I'm just saying that loosely because I know people jump in and save people. But the thing is, they're going to be in such a panic. They'll end up killing you because they'll end up pulling you down because they're so panicked. And if a different scenario is, if you know that you need help, but you're not taking the help, the person that's offering the help can only do so much. They can't force the help on you. How are they going to do that? Even if they try to figure out a way to force it on you, you still have to be the one to consistently take the help that's been given. And so, what do I mean by that? You can make a person go to therapy. You can say, oh my gosh, they just need to go to therapy. Okay, so they go to therapy. You can't make them talk. You can't make them tell the truth. You can't make them implement the things that's being said to them once the session is over. So there's a part of us that still has to want help even in our low place. And what does that speak to? We have to do a better job with our gift of discernment. Because a lot of the things that we're going through things and we see the signs. We see the red flags, like society is calling it. We're seeing it. It's not like we can't see it. But now we have to ask ourselves, why is it that we being so stuck on trying to save a person? And the reason why I'm speaking it in this form, because I see this so much in relationships. A woman to be with a man and she will give the man everything. Her car, she'll give him everything. She'll give him everything. She'll give him her car. She'll give him her check. I mean, some of the stories I hear, and I'm not talking about nobody or anything of that nature, but some of the stories I hear, that thing be breaking my heart. Like, well, he don't work. And I'm not just saying it's just he, because it's women that is out here doing crazy stuff too. But she'll be giving him her money, going without, neglecting her kids. He taking a car all day. He not even picking you up from work on time. He lying to you, let alone cheating on you. All kinds of things that we go through. But then we swear, I love him and I feel like he loved me. He just don't know no better. He didn't have nobody to show him. That story is old. I think by now that's old now. And then we have to ask ourselves, what's going on within us that we continue to allow that? What place are we operating from? Loneliness? Depression? You trying to prove a point to your friend that told you he wasn't no good? You got to be honest with yourself. Why are you allowing this? Where is your self-esteem? What are you teaching your children if you have children? If you have daughters and or sons, you could be teaching your sons it's okay to treat women this way or men this way. If you have daughters, you letting your daughters know don't stand for nothing. Y'all understand what I'm saying? We got to work on that, y'all. Sometimes we have to get away from the place where we constantly blaming other people for why we going through pain and traumas and issues and repetitive bad relationships. Sometimes we got to get to a place where we say, why am I accepting this? Why, when I realized something was off, why didn't I have the courage or the strength to walk away, to say that I'm not going to take this? Because I just want to be with somebody so bad that I'm willing to neglect my own happiness. We got to do better with that. And then it's nothing to be embarrassed about. You know why? Because we all done been through it. And if somebody tell you they haven't, they lying. They lying. Somebody telling you they ain't never had nobody play them, lie on them, disappoint them, not live up to their expectations, they lying. I'm gonna finish this little yard work and stuff I have to do here. And I'm getting up out of here. Love y'all. I'll let y'all soon.